Hello, Cougars. This is Miss Strawn, and on behalf of Ms. Medlin, Ms. Mitchell, and Ms. Pruitt, and we are going into week 8 of at-home learning, and this is the third part of the lesson on advertising techniques. So, going forward, I want to remind you of the persuasive appeals and the advertising techniques we've already covered, but I'll be going through them quickly, and then we'll go into the 2 advertising techniques that we're focusing on for this lesson. Okay, so writers use and also speakers use persuasive techniques like ethos, which refers to the competence, the expertise, and the knowledge of the speaker or the author. Okay, so that's where the speaker lets you know that you should trust them. So examples would be like your teachers proving their ethos by having a college education. Also, celebrity endorsements can sometimes be references to ethos. You may see it in the way someone speaks, so you can tell they're educated by the way of their word choice, by using claims, by associating someone with certain authorities can let you know that they have ethos. Some examples of this you see Shaquille O'Neal, we can trust him, he's a basketball player, he has ethos. Santa Claus, it's a funny one right here. Santa Claus, you can trust him, which is funny. We probably shouldn't trust this Santa Claus who's smoking Camel cigarettes. And then you can trust this guy that smoking's not good because look at him, he's already hooked up to a breathing machine. So it's the credibility that you can believe the speaker or the author. Then you have the logos technique, which is the appeal to logic. So the argument makes sense because it's logical and thought out. So some examples that you might see is how that they begin with specific details and then to draw a general conclusion. Deduction is another way. They begin with a general statement and then they begin to show specific examples. They give a definition and arguing that something meets a definition, and then they show cause and effect or use analogies to prove their point. These are just some examples here. Makes sense. If you're hungry, what should you do? You should eat something. Grab a Snickers, and you could look at these. I'm going to go quickly. Pathos is the third one, and this is the appeal to emotion, where the author tries to make you feel something. So the commercials on TV about adopting abused animals, giving money to a charity would qualify. So sensory imagery, metaphors, those are all references to emotion. Storytelling and narration, words that have emotional connotations would all be referencing pathos. Okay, those you may recognize even in these print ads. You should care about your tires of the baby. You have a lot riding on it, so it appeals to our sense of wanting to keep someone safe. This one's about abuse. And then, of course, here's the adopt an animal because, you know, that's sad. Look at those puppy dog eyes. So emotion. All right. Then we have our advertising techniques. These are what people who are selling a product or selling an idea hope to persuade us with, which they can use pathos and logos and ethos, but techniques are a little bit different. Okay, so this is what we look for in advertising and in political propaganda. Quickly, you have bandwagon. Everybody's doing it. Join the millions of people. This is popular. You want to be popular. Join the crowd. That's what bandwagon technique is all about. Then the opposite is avant-garde. The product is so cool and different that you'll be so cool and different if you purchase it. If you want to be different or unique or ahead of the game, ahead of the times, then that's the avant-garde technique that they're using to sell the product to you. Then last week, we covered testimonials. That's where you have either a celebrity or a person who is using that product who tells you that you should buy it because they are buying it, they are using it, and they can prove that it's good. Then also last week, we did the technique for facts and figures, which is statistics, percentages, but you have to be careful with statistics because they can be spoken in a way that seems persuasive, but maybe it's not necessarily true, okay? So this week, we are going to talk about transfer. Now, transfer means to move to something else. So in this technique, a device that carries over the authority or prestige of something or someone that's already respected or revered. So in the ad, they'll take an idea or a person that most people already have respect for, and by simply having that idea or that person in the ad, they're hoping you'll transfer that feeling to their product. So look at this picture here. You see Superman. Superman is not really drinking milk. He has a milk mustache on, but we don't see him drinking milk. But the idea is, if you think Superman is strong and you think Superman if you like Superman, he drinks milk, so should you. Okay, by simply having him in the ad, and he's not even drinking milk in this ad. They're hoping you'll transfer those feelings, those good feelings of Superman to the product of milk. Same thing with these slogans, WWJD, what would Jesus do? That's a religious transfer. They're hoping that you'll put that same feeling onto their product. Often it's used with patriotism or using a popular celebrity in the commercial, though the celebrity never even uses the product in the commercial. So I've seen some old ads of celebrities like Michael Jackson who were dancing. They would have him dancing, for the Coke commercial, but he never even drank a Coke, or it was Pepsi, I'm sorry. He never even drank the Pepsi, but they're hoping like, hey, he's popular, he's cool. If you can, he likes a Pepsi, so should you, but he's not even endorsing it in the commercial. Okay, so we're going to look at a commercial for Dodge Challenger. And I want to see if you can see what kind of idea they're hoping that you'll transfer to their product, the Dodge Challenger.
Here are a couple things America got right. Cars and freedom.
Okay, so let's talk about this commercial for the Dodge Challenger. So the first question we want to be able to answer is, who is the target audience of this product? Would it be for babies? No, because babies can't drive cars. Would it be for elementary age? No, same problem here. Would this be targeted for people all around the world? Would the British appreciate this commercial? No, I don't think so, right? This is targeted for an American audience or other fans of independence from governing bodies, and it would be targeted towards adults, or at the very least people who are of driving age, so probably around 16 plus, and those specifically who would understand what was happening in that ad, which was a replica or a reenactment of the fight with the British in the American colonies for independence. So what is the purpose of this ad? Are they trying to inform us of history? No, because there were some parts of that didn't happen. But what they're trying to do always is they're trying to persuade you to purchase something. So that what are they trying to do? They're trying to persuade us that the Dodge Challenger is a car that represents independence and patriotism. Okay, that brings us up to that whole transfer technique that we're going to talk about. which persuasive appeals are used. Okay, so persuasive appeals, that's logos, pathos, and ethos. So we could say that they are targeting the idea of ethos because credibility. George Washington is in that ad, so we could give him some credibility. You could say that it is pathos because it's making us feel a particular way about their car, about it being triumphant and victorious. I don't think that there's much logos. I mean, except for logically speaking, if the Dodge Challenger were to have been invented, and yes, it could have ran the British Army down the mountain, but there are no real facts and statistics here. As a matter of fact, they got some facts wrong, but they are hoping to transfer some feelings that you have towards patriotism and American Revolutionary Hero to their product. So here's how you would answer this question. So pay attention for those of you who want to get all 3 points for the short answer question. So in the question, explain how this demonstrates the transfer technique. Say, the advertisers for Dodge Challenger use the transfer technique for what purpose? To suggest that Dodge cars are associated with patriotism and an American Revolutionary hero. In the commercial, the camera shows an army of British soldiers on a battlefield. Then, when they are ready to face their enemies, a Dodge Challenger, actually 3 Dodge Challengers, with an American flag waving out the window, drives out onto the battlefield and chases the British soldiers away. Inside the car, an actor that looks like the nation's first president, George Washington, leads the charge. Finally, the narrator says, Americans got a couple of things right. Cars and freedom. Ooh, that's pretty clear. Cars and freedom. What are they trying to transfer? A feeling of freedom with their car, the Dodge Challenger. The commercial hopes to associate the positive feelings for patriotism and freedom with the Dodge Challenger. See how they did that? Okay, that's called transfer. Okay, so what's the next technique? I know you're dying to know. The last advertising technique that we are going to cover in this unit is plain folks. That's a southern word, folks. Folks is folks, plain ordinary people, the common man. So the definition of this is the use of common, ordinary people to promote a product or service. The goal of a plain folks ad is to show that the product or service is of appeal and value to everyone, whether you have money or you don't. And sometimes it references old time or simple living. Like an example would be if you've heard those State Farm commercials, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. That's an example. Good neighbors. And sometimes it'll be with just an image of people doing normal, common activities. For example, in this Walmart ad you see, it's a woman who has a child. She has, her purse. She's not dressed in any fancy way. She's doing her shopping. Walmart, save money, live better. So just ordinary folks going about their business. All right, so we're going to take a look at a commercial now for plain folks, and this one is for Nike.
I am not a star. I don't want to be a star. I don't have a great name. The media have never heard of me. No public, no cheerleaders. It's not about winning or losing. It's about reaching your limits, going as far as you can go, and then going farther. I don't collect titles, I collect hours. Hours of hard work. Hours of pain. That's just me. I'm playing for the ultimate victory. The victory over yourself. This is a way of life. There is no finish line. Becoming the best that you can be. There's nothing else that matters. Beating the odds, fulfilling your destiny. I don't want to be a superstar. I want to be better than that. Just want to be me. Just want to be me.
Okay, so let's talk about this commercial for Nike. Who would you say is the target audience of this product? In other words, who are they most trying to sell to? Now, I know that Nike sells clothing and shoes for any age, but looking at the commercial itself, would you say this was geared more towards children, teens, adults, or somewhere like in between, like the teen, young adult age seemed to me the most prevalent group? I would definitely say it's not geared towards babies. There are not any cartoon characters, and it's not geared towards the elderly either. Okay, so somewhere between that youth to young adult age. What is the purpose of this ad? What are they trying to do? All right. They're always, if they're trying to sell you something, they're trying to persuade you something about their product. So what are they trying to persuade us to know about Nike? Well, they're trying to persuade us that Nike is not just for the superstar, for the Michael Jordans or the Kobe Bryant of the world. That this is a shoe or a product that the common man can use in your normal day. So are the common teen, I would say, instead of common man. Which persuasive appeals are used? Did you hear a lot of facts? No. So logos would not be their primary appeal. Did you have anyone famous or someone that you could trust? Not so much. The ethos is not there. But what we do have is pathos, because as we see the actor who is portraying this, common, ordinary individual playing basketball and working to perfect his shot, we see that he does not live in the nicest neighborhood, and we feel maybe proud of him. He's inspiring. The music adds an emotional touch. He seems to be an individual who has a purpose and is driven, and that really appeals to what we feel emotionally. So in this plain folks technique example, let's talk about how they showed us the plain folks technique, which means that the product is good for the common, ordinary man. So here's an outline of the short answer response. Remember, you want to start with words from the question in your answer. Then you want to, the second part needs to be examples, either from the text, in this case from the commercial, and then you wrap it up and explain again how it goes along with plain folks. So here is your example. The advertisers for Nike demonstrate the plain folks technique by showing a young basketball player in his urban neighborhood and neighborhood courts. From the camera angles and shots, okay, so this is my text evidence, the audience can see that the young player does not live in a wealthy area and he is not wearing expensive clothing, except for the Nikes, right? So we could argue that those are a little more expensive. Furthermore, the voiceover, so that means the part where they're speaking, the audio, reveals that this young man does not wish for fame or fortune. He even says he's not collecting titles. He is collecting hours or time. Rather, he is working hard and practicing to be the best version of himself. Both the visual and audio elements imply that Nike is not only for the rich and famous, but also for the common individuals who have a strong work ethic. Okay, so to sum it up, the audio and visual information also suggests that Nike understands that not everyone lives the life of the rich and famous. So they want us to understand that Nike is for everyone, not just those who are wealthy or athletes. Okay, so that's how you answer those questions. Make sure you contact your teachers if you have any specific questions. And be aware that we only have one more week of actual lessons, and that's where we're going to take all of these techniques that we have been learning for the last 3 weeks and turn them into an advertising campaign for an invention. To just briefly tell you what we'll be doing there, you will invent a product, you will sell it using 2 persuasive appeals, logos, pathos, ethos, and 2 advertising techniques. We will show you examples next week so that you can start creating that. So be thinking about what you would like to invent. It does not have to be something you don't have to actually invent the product. You're just inventing the advertising campaign. All right, guys, have a great week. See you soon.